just who I am. I'm not going to lie.
Mhm.
So I was with my daughter at 10 a.m. So she was awake at 10 a.m.
Okay.
She did not tell me about it at 10 a.m. because this mom would have brought her ass home, straight home with her brother, would have taken
Right.
both my kids, packed them up, and brought them home. They know their mother.
Right.
So, yes, I believe my daughter knew at 10. I believe they all knew at 10 a.m. I
Okay.
didn't know that the police didn't know at 10 a.m. till the following day when the news came out and said noon, right? Nor did she.
Mhm.
They didn't know either. They figured that obviously the police and parents knew, but
Right.
what she didn't offer the information to me because she didn't want to come home from school. She loved school. That's really truly the information I had. I have more information about who was there at in the morning, the roommates or
But
whatever.
that information that you have from who
Yes,
was
I've
there
seen
and
it.
who possibly was
Mhm.
there,
I have seen it.
it's not coming from Dylan, is it? It's not coming from Bethany. So
It
whoever
did not come from Dylan or Bethany. No,
okay,
absolutely never.
so whoever it's coming from, it's not from
Right.
the source. So it's just a rumor.
It's a
So
third hand.
how
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So how much of that rumor is true is unknown, and
Right.
we'll know in court.
Right. Well,
It
no, in court
sounds
for sure.
like it's pretty much, in my opinion, straightforward as to who was it and when it happened. I think they
Right.
got the right
Right.
guy. But if somebody wants to go down that rumor mill with you, I don't think that's really your fault for being the person answering the question. I kind of
Right.
fault the other creator or whoever's
No,
asking the
that's nice
question
of them.
to go down that rabbit hole with you, because anybody can do that, and
Right.
then
You're
turn that
right.
into fact. Now,
Exactly, Daniel. That is actually exact. In hindsight, if I could go back, I would have what I was my purpose in calling other creators when they said my name or said something about me was to correct something they had said about me that was not correct, or something they quoted I said that wasn't correct. In hindsight, I would have just called you and just told you and said, "This guy's saying this, and can we correct that?" But I
mhm,
didn't know, and being naive is not an excuse. It's not. It
right.
isn't. I needed to be. I'm an adult. I'm an intelligent adult, educated adult. I should have done it better, and I wish I had. But when people asked me what I thought and what I felt, yes, I would go down that rabbit hole with them, not even thinking of the consequences. Because for me, I'm just saying, well, maybe coulda, woulda. But in hindsight, that was my bad. And
Mhm.
I can't take it back. If I could, I would, but I can't. So I apologize. And I have apologized and reached out and apologized to the families for things I have misspoken that came out wrong, incorrectly. But
Mhm.
my purpose has never been to be harmful or um, to disregard these families or to make these. Look, if these one of my boys brought one of those girls home, I'd be like, "Ka-ching! We just won the lotto. This girl's a gem."
Mhm.
Honestly, I judge none of them. College is for one-offs. College is to party. College is
Mhm.
to have fun, and they, in my opinion, did nothing wrong.
Right.
That's what I believe, wholly and with all my heart. And I feel bad that things have been mistaken and could have hurt people. I truly do. And to do it over, I do it over. I don't know if I'd even go on YouTube.
I just want to, I have to pause for a second because I understand that there were rabbit holes and there were things mentioned on, but I never think that anybody strayed from the primary story here, which is your daughter received a phone call at 10 a.m. and 911 was called at 11:58. So I don't really know what they're referencing as far as like rabbit holes and speculation. She still stands by what she said. I was planning on showing you this, but after I'm done with that, I'm going to back it up because he tells her, well, he gives her a way out. He gives her an out. He says, maybe your daughter was asleep until noon and she thought it was 10 a.m. when she read it. And then Kim, he says, no, I know. I picked her up at 10 a.m. Let's keep listening and then we'll rewind it.
To be honest. But I
Gotcha.
wanted to keep it out there and I wanted people to know that maybe these kids aren't safe. And I still feel that kids might not be safe still. I can't And that was my whole message.
Why does she think the kids aren't safe still? Now that's interesting. I mean, she feels the kids aren't safe still. In this interview, she does also talk about thinking they have the right person. So does she think there's an accomplice? Does she think there's a secondary crime going on? I wonder what she means by the kids aren't safe still. The kids, she just, they're going to school there right now, I guess, but.
Yeah, no, yeah. And that's kind of what I took away from it as well when we talked, and like I said, we talked an extensive amount before, anything was
Right.
aired. I know that there was one time we may have gone a little bit down the rabbit hole because we're probably consuming a little bit too much alcohol, but but
I still will reach out to you when something goes down.
yeah,
You're the first person I text. You know that.
yeah, I think that was a show with myself, yourself, and Lena from TNT, and that one ended abruptly. Right. Yeah, that one was a good one.
Right.
But yeah, we went down the rabbit hole in that situation.
Right.
And I realized then too, it was like, hey, I mean, I know we're just, I don't see myself as a detective trying to solve the case. Just a podcast. In that situation, maybe we probably shouldn't have gotten as lit as we did on that one.
Well, right. I mean, it was, and you know what? It's being new and learning and growing with this as a thing. And I actually will say to you that you'll never hear about me after this case. Probably. I hope not. I hope I never have any more information. But I will always text you something. I'll always shoot you something because you are a trustworthy person. I trust you. Honestly, thank goodness that who I was looking for wasn't who I got. Do you know what I mean? I got you. And Blue. I love myself some Blue. But
yeah.
I just think that I just I'm not trying to lie to people. I'm not You don't have to believe me. I'm just warning parents of kids over there. And that was always my goal and my purpose. And I want to be wrong. I want to not know what I know.
Right.
I wish I never knew anything. It was never, I don't want to be discovered. Honestly, how long did it take my face to come out? And it's
What do you mean by his normal channel? He has a second channel? I guess I wasn't aware of this. If you could drop in the chat what his second channel is, so I'm like in the loop about what's going on. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't, I don't know if he created a problem, but what he's saying is, I don't know how we went down this rabbit hole. And what I'm saying is there is no rabbit hole. Her whole story is her whole story is the rabbit hole. So let me go back to tell you what I'm saying. I really want you guys to hear this interaction the way I heard it, because I listened to this in detail, and I think minutes right here just says it all. Here we go.
Beginning. It's like a fish story. One person catches a quarter-pound fish, and then
10 pounds.
Yeah, but and then by the time he gets around the block, it's 10-pound fish. And so I said this from the beginning. I said her daughter claims about 10:30. Who knows what time she really woke up? It could have been 11:30. Could have been noon. The night before, even you've said this, that she was, I think, out and about, right?
We were out and about together. Yes, it was parents' weekend, so we were there.
Yeah, and so I don't know if after you left, if they've continued to be out and about, maybe consuming, partying with friends or whatnot. And so if they went to sleep around 3 or 4, I mean, waking up at 10:30 in the morning is probably uncommon. But if somebody wakes up around noon and something happens within the first 10 minutes of them waking up, in my opinion, looking back at it, they might call it the morning. Now, what I had said was, were people called before law enforcement? And the answer was yes. We know that because there were other kids that were out there.
Right.
Now, rumor spreads wide. Now, I also say I don't know what time that it actually came out. Right. You yourself, I mean, can you tell everybody the exact moment or time that it happened? Do you have any proof of what time it happened?
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to start here. Everything I say, I hold myself accountable for saying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't lie. I could be
Mm-hmm.
wrong. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. That's how I feel about this whole situation. I would never lie, and I would never insert myself into a situation. I can say that honestly, on a Bible, on a lie detector test. That's just who I am. I'm not going to lie.
Mm-hmm.
So I was with my daughter at 10 a.m. So she was awake at 10 a.m.
Okay.
She did not tell me about it at 10 a.m. because this mom would have brought her ass home, straight home with her brother, would have taken
Right.
both my kids, packed them up, and brought them home. They know their mother.
Right.
So, yes, I believe my daughter knew at 10. I believe they all knew at 10 a.m. I
Okay.
didn't know that the police didn't know at 10 a.m. till the following day when the news came out and said noon, right? Nor did she.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know either. They figured that obviously the police and parents knew, but
Right.
what she didn't offer the information to me because she didn't want to come home from school. She loved school. That's really truly the information I had. I have more information about who was there in the morning, the roommates or
But
whatever.
that information that you have from who
Yes,
was
I've
there
seen
and
it.
who possibly was
Mhm.
there,
I
it's
have
not
seen it.
coming. It's not coming from Dylan, is it? It's not coming from Bethany. So
It
whoever.
did not come from
Her
Dylan or
daughter.
Bethany. No,
Okay.
absolutely not.
So whoever it's coming from, it's not from
Right.
the source. So it's just a rumor.
It's a
So
third hand.
how?
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So how much of that rumor is true is unknown, and
Right.
we'll know in court.
Right. Well,
It
no, in court.
sounds like it's pretty much, in my opinion, straightforward as to who was it and when it happened. I think they
Right.
got the right
Right.
guy. But if somebody wants to go down that rumor mill with you, I don't think that's really your fault for being the person answering the question.
Okay, I think the problem is that people are sensing there's a secondary something else going on, and whether it was like what everyone is suggesting, that there was something there that they wanted to hide before police came, allegedly. I think people are sensing it. And although the police told all the children involved that they don't care what activities they were at, give us all your data, give us your phones, give us your pictures from that night. You're not going to get in trouble. We're not after you. We're after this killer. Still, I mean, I think people want to know the whole picture. And if there was a crime, which they got some sort of immunity for to show them their evidence, I mean, I think transparency is the best reason. Nobody can quite understand why, if people were there at 10 a.m., which is somebody showing her face on the record now saying that this happened, why was there a 2-hour time delay before 911 was called? So I think we just want to know. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the primary crime or whatever, but if you want to stop speculation and people making conspiracies, then you have to be transparent. And thank you all for being here.
And I said, but it's Olivia. And so we discussed it, and he said, okay. So then I agreed to do it, but I vacillated. I'm not going to lie. Up until the moment I did it, I wasn't sure I was going to do it. Neither were they. And I didn't get paid for it. I actually spoke to an attorney about it. And they did pay for they didn't want me to drive over. They wanted me to fly over, which probably was smarter. They paid for my accommodations,
I don't know. All I know is this interview, she basically said she doesn't take back what she said. She still picked her daughter up around 10 a.m. and her daughter had already known about the crime. So, and she's a WSU mom too. She's not from University of Idaho, which makes it which is something that Dave, the caller, pointed out, because he said that the reason he called in was because he was prompted by WSU Mom Kim. And I'll show Dave's phone call after this, because it's hard to imagine that somebody faking that phone call. It comes across like somebody speaking naturally, although I've met some incredible con artists in my lifetime. So she's not changing her story. I don't know what to say. So I don't know who JD is, but I hope that answers your question. Sorry. I think she at first was debunking it, but she is all over the place. So I don't know either. So yeah. Okay. Well, that's a good answer too, Nevada Naps. But she does very clearly state at this one clip from the 30-minute mark, because I marked it before I came on air with you, from the 30-minute mark to the 33-minute mark in this live stream, he tries to give her an out and basically say, oh, you must have misunderstood the situation. That's not really what happened, right, Kim? I'm paraphrasing, of course. And then she says, no, it's even further than that. I didn't just call her. I picked her up, physically picked her up, and she already knew about these things at 10 a.m. She does. Oh, they do speak about Jack D in this interview. I didn't know.
Woke up. It could have been 11.
So this part I did not know. I guess I didn't understand this part of the story. So what Nevada Naps is saying, who follows this case very closely. So for you folks watching, Nevada Naps says, yes, at first she did say his alibi was her daughter, but she never seen him there. I did not know that. And I'm wondering if maybe that's what they're referencing about going down the rabbit hole. But either way, I think the story was always the same. She's one person who's gone on the record that says, I don't understand why 911 wasn't called for 2 hours after my daughter knew about this. I mean, it's speculated. It's not just, I'm going to back up. I know a third party who actually said it allegedly. I haven't read it with my own eyes, but commenters who have read President Scott Green's new book on how to survive a tragedy at a school, he even says that morning he knew. And another speculation and complete alleged rumors, just Reddit stuff. I've heard Scott Green was actually part of that crowd of 20 people gathered at the house. Again, this isn't implicating anyone in a crime. It's just saying, why are we being gaslit? Like, what happened? What happened before they called 911? Oh.
Were people called before law enforcement? And the answer was yes. We know that because there were other kids that were out there.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Now, rumor spreads wide. Now, I also say I don't know what time that it actually came out. Right. You yourself, I mean, can you tell everybody the exact moment or time that it happened? Do you have any proof of what time it happened?
So first of all, I'm going to start here. Everything I say, I hold myself accountable for saying. Mm-hmm. I don't lie. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm wrong. That's how I feel about this whole situation. I would never lie, and I would never insert myself into a situation. I can say that honestly, on a Bible, on a lie detector test. That's just who I am. I'm not going to lie. So I was with my daughter at 10 a.m. So she was awake at 10 a.m. Okay. She did not tell me about it at 10 a.m. because this mom would have brought her ass home, straight home with her brother, would take taken both my kids, packed them up and brought them home. They know their mother. So yes, I believe my daughter knew at 10. I believe they all knew at 10 a.m. I didn't know that the police didn't know at 10 a.m. till the following day when the news came out and said noon, right? Nor did she. They didn't know either. They figured that obviously the police and parents knew, but what she didn't offer the information to me because she didn't want to come home from school. She loved school. That's really, truly the information I had. I have more information about who was there in the morning, the roommates.
But that information that you have from who was there and who possibly was there, it's not coming from Dylan, is it? It's not coming from Bethany. So whoever,
it did not come from Dylan or Bethany. No.
Okay, so whoever it's coming from, it's not from the source. So it's just a rumor.
It's a third hand, right? Absolutely.
Yeah. So how much of that rumor is true is unknown, and we'll know in court. It sounds like it's pretty much, in my opinion, straightforward as to who was it and when it happened. I think they got the right guy. But if somebody wants to go down that rumor mill with you, I don't think that's really your fault for being the person answering the question. I kind of fault the other creator or whoever's asking the question to go down that rabbit hole with you, because not really realizing that it was all speculation and rumor and just people.
Okay, that's overthinking it a little bit. I'm going to go back to where I was originally going to show you.
Early May, I think.
So they came out to you, they told you about this,
They
docuseries
approached me probably in March or
in
February.
March?
Or
All right.
February, and then we shot in sometime in May. It was the week before Father's Day when so that would have been June.
Where'd they fly
So
you
the
out
week
to?
before Father's Day. Moscow. I was in Moscow.
Oh, they flew you out there to Moscow.
They flew me
Wow.
to I flew to Spokane and then met Olivia, and Olivia and I drove to uh she dropped me in Pullman, where I stayed in Pullman alone. And she and her mother went to somewhere in Moscow. And then the guards or the people, drivers, whatever, picked me up in Pullman and took me to Moscow for the shooting. And then I went back to Pullman and my husband met me. I don't know her last name, but when you're done shooting, I want an opportunity to come back and say and answer anything that people have to say, because often people get things I say wrong or twisted or whatever, or I say it incorrectly.
Mhm.
Don't hold myself harmless, but I just want to make sure that everything's clear that I'm saying. And I
Mhm.
said, and it's not a hit piece on YouTube. And she said to me, why YouTube? And I said, because I went to mainstream media and they wanted me to say what they wanted me to say, and they gave me a script. So I went on and I said exactly what I wanted to say and avoided their script. And actually, they have called me back to go on. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to say what you want me to say. I'm going to say what I know to be true. They told me it wasn't a hit piece. I don't know that it was a hit piece on YouTube. I think that's coming. But I will tell you, I will stand up before everybody and say, that is not what I said. There's several creators
Mhm.
that I feel didn't were I was unjustly served by, and I'll deal with
Mhm.
them. But I'm not going to take down YouTube, because YouTube, you can get to people. You know, people.
Well,
You have an audience.
right. Well, without saying any names of who these YouTubers were, what exactly did they do?
Yeah.
They doxed me, but they doxed me saying that there was this other woman who was me. They put my picture up there with this other woman and claimed she was I, and sent people to her house.
And did you know who this person was?
I had no idea who she was. No idea. And I don't think she had any idea what was coming. And it was the night before we shot the Paramount Plus thing,
Mhm.
which explains the bags under my eyes. Hopefully, maybe that person lived in my home before I did. Maybe they were the old owners. Maybe two, you know what I mean, 2 owners
Mhm.
ago. And my family is sitting in this home. So my husband and I sent our children away from their homes elsewhere, and that's why my husband came to me, because it was really scary. I trusted this YouTuber first. And I actually asked you if you were one of these people specifically in the beginning.
Right. No, I recall.
And right. And thank God I got you and not him, because they honestly sent people to harm my family and myself.
Right. Yeah. No, yeah. They're sending people, even though it wasn't you, but they're sending
Right.
people somewhere. The attempt
Yeah.
is to harm you.
I don't know what's going on, but I would like to know who did that to her.
This poor woman who has no idea. I mean, honestly, I felt responsible for her. I mean, I'm not like, you can put one and one together, and if it doesn't make two, right? You're like, what's going on? So I was concerned that they were going to do a hit piece, which is why I said to them, I want you to conclude everything I said about you guys, the YouTubers that I trust in this.